Hi, thanks for joining me. I'm Tamara Ridge. I'm a trauma survivor since early childhood and a licensed therapist who's been working with people to help them heal trauma for the past 25 years. Here are the 9 crucial areas of focus that every effective treatment process, including a support group, should have, why it's important for your healing, and how you can participate with me and get my personal support to help you heal. Before the other 8, there is foundational work to be done. You've got to have support when it comes to learning to trust your body, giving yourself permission to heal, extending compassion toward yourself, and overcoming overwhelm. These are included as part of your participation in my PTSD support group, and you can always refer back to them as needed. Something I want you to keep in mind as we go through the areas that are essential to address so you can heal is it doesn't matter where you are in your healing path. In our weekly Zoom meetings, we support you and discuss anything that comes up wherever you are in your journey, because you can be sure that if it's something that you're struggling with, someone else in the group is needing to hear the same things that you need to hear that day. So let's dive in. The first focus has to be on increasing your control over your trauma brain. Your brain is wired to keep you safe. The limbic system is in charge of that. This is what I call the trauma brain. It's always on the lookout for danger. That's why the tiniest reminder of something that happened to you sets off alarm bells in your body. It's 100% sensation, and there are no words when you're triggered, right? The reason for that is the limbic system, your trauma brain, is separate from the learning part of your brain. In the learning part of your brain, you have the ability to use words and to tell time, among other things. But it's the disconnect where your limbic system has no words and no time that has to be corrected. The focus here has to be creating a bridge of language and time that you can reliably use to help yourself feel better quickly when your trauma brain takes over. This is important because if you feel you have no ability to quickly calm your body and your trauma brain, you'll have trouble keeping hope that you can heal. I'm not going to let that happen. My PTSD support group will give you the exact tools for creating that communication bridge to help you feel in control enough to keep up the healing process. The second focus has to be reducing your overall body reactivity. That's because when we're under a constant barrage of stress hormones that come from constantly feeling triggered, the body starts to break down. You may have never heard of Hans Selye, but his theory correctly describes what happens to us when we're under too much stress, including PTSD stress over time. When a stressor just begins, our body will go into an alarm state followed by a resistance stage so we can handle the stress effectively. But if the stress goes on too long, the body starts to break down and we start seeing things like adrenal fatigue, chronic fatigue syndrome, fibromyalgia, rheumatoid arthritis, and more. It's the exhaustion stage that we want to be able to avoid. And having a deep understanding of how our body moves through each of these stages is crucial to healing. My PTSD support group covers this and helps you understand how to stay back from the edge of exhaustion by helping you understand your body's signals and helping you respond to them in a healing way. The third focus has to be on understanding the purpose of feelings. You see, with PTSD, we tend to try to shut down feelings, especially when we're triggered, instead of trying to figure out what our feelings are trying to tell us. Shutting down and avoiding feelings are classic symptoms of PTSD. The traditional methods of talking about the trauma or talking through feelings doesn't work because it tends to just reinforce the triggered responses in us. Instead, it's important to recognize that your body history holds all of the stories and the feelings that were laid down at the time of traumatic events. And when your trauma brain causes those feelings to leak out into present time, we have 2 choices. to be open and curious enough to figure out if these are valid in the moment feelings, or to rely on compulsive actions that effectively shut those feelings down in the same way that we did when our only choice was survival. When you make the choice to be open and curious, you then become empowered to take the first steps to eliminate the triggered responses. And that's when you'll be able to begin interacting with other feelings more often than just those triggered feelings brought on by the trauma brain and PTSD. The fourth focus must be on recognizing the difference between PTSD feelings and other feelings in your healing journey. So when it comes to healing, there are only 3 types of feelings and only 3 correctly paired responses. When you pair the wrong response with a particular feeling, symptoms get worse and you can start feeling like you'll never heal. Again, talk therapy and other methods often look for emotional release, believing that that leads to healing. But here's how it actually works. The 3 types of feelings with the appropriate responses are, first, here and now feelings that give you information about your current situation and allow you to decide what to do and act. Second, triggered responses that help you see where your trauma brain needs help to insert language and time to improve your feelings of safety. Then, my 6 steps to neutralize that trigger so it no longer creates a triggered response in you. And third, feelings that come up after you've healed the triggered response. This is natural catharsis, and it usually feels really good. In my PTSD support group, you'll learn how to identify each type of feeling and respond correctly, which will help you feel better faster and increase your confidence that you can do this. The 5th focus has to be on having a systematic, easy to understand and implement strategy for addressing stress. It's not enough to exercise, which can create more exhaustion for us, or just to breathe. We have to have a proactive approach that helps us to anticipate our stress responses and allow us to consistently take action to keep our stress levels low so we can increase our threshold of what we can tolerate. Our goal is to increase our buffer zone. The buffer zone is where we might be feeling a little stressed, but have the ability still to problem solve without going into a brain fog or shutting down state, so we can deal with whatever life problem is right in front of us at the moment. PTSD reduces our buffer zone. With the deep dive into how to minimize our stress responses, our goal is to widen that buffer zone. Our ultimate goal is to live in our buffer zone, and in my PTSD support group, I'll show you how to do this. The 6th focus is intimately connected with what needs didn't get met for you while you were surviving trauma. You'll identify specific needs that didn't get met and what you did to try to protect yourself. Again, this is a systematic approach that will allow you to see for yourself where the gaps were without requiring you to tell the trauma stories. This is so important because it will help you anticipate where problems with triggering are likely to come up and to preemptively take corrective self-healing action that will reduce your triggered responses and help you get your needs met more effectively. The next focus is exciting because it's how to eliminate triggered responses. At this point, we'll put together everything we've worked on so far to help you really create a solid bridge between your trauma brain and the here and now in terms of creating language and time so that you can shift your awareness. By this time, you'll be able to effectively get rid of trauma responses and you'll become more confident at it with practice. All of these areas of focus are given in lessons that are ready for you on demand inside my community, Trauma Free Nation. The PTSD support group aspect of our community is that you get to meet with me and others who are healing in Zoom meetings twice per week, where I'll answer your questions and you'll see that you're really not alone. We've got amazing people in our community and I'm excited to have you join us. So just click the join button below and I'll see you on the other side.